Right, so just going to go through this very short presentation. It's just going to be a quick rundown of what we do, what's going on locally in Shenley, so from the crime and ASB point of view, what have we been doing as the neighbourhood team, and then just we'll get into the Q&A, just because I know that's where everyone really wants to sort of get into, okay? So hopefully everyone can see that sort of full screen. Basically, it's a what and why of what are the neighbourhood team when it comes to policing. So our job basically is we're a mix of PCSOs and police officers, and we're there to work in the local community. Our goals really are sort of build trust, try and understand the community and deal with those sort of ongoing community needs and problems and try and solve those. So we're basically there just to try and understand what the problems are, larger problems in the community, and then try and make solutions to those and work through those, okay? And we do that as a mix of police officers and PCSOs. There's some heart-specific stuff, that's a general thing for neighbourhoods across the country, but we investigate all the shoplifting and sort of neighbour-related crimes that go on. We're first point of contact for any sort of special units that maybe aren't about on the streets in uniform. So things when it comes to sort of child exploitation, we're normally the first people who go and do that initial check. We, as with this one, we're here to like run all the community events and any community messaging that's on our system, Hearts Connected. Hopefully some of you got the message and link through that system. I know we're going to have a couple of people who maybe come from Facebook. We do a lot of the safeguarding for all the what we call acquisitive crime. That's a big posh word for things such as burglary, thefts of motor vehicles, and so like cars and mopeds. And if there's any sort of vulnerable people, adults or children, that we need to go do some inquiries and safeguarding, we're normally that first port of call. And as with all things, we are their frontline officers in uniform, and so if needed, we are there to sort of back up our response officers who are, if there's none of them available, when they go to 999 calls, etc. Okay. In terms of our team, we're not biggest team, but it is just for Pottersbar and Shenley. So there's currently 4 police officers, 4 PCSOs, apologies, 3 police officers. God, I'm miscounting. 1 sergeant and 1 inspector. And then we're there basically just for Pottersbar and Shenley. So the Shenley area is one of 3 or 4 areas that we have in Pottersbar and Shenley, with the rest of the areas all being part of Pottersbar. But there is a larger Hertsmere team that also do the same sort of job in Borehamwood, etc. So just getting on quickly to what's been happening in Shenley, South Mimms and Ridge. So when we talk about the Shenley ward, that's the name, but it does cover South Mimms and Ridge. So you can see, obviously I can't give loads of detail about individual incidents, but in the last year there's been 2,240 incidents that have been recorded by police, you know, for a year period. So that's about 6.13 incidents per day. We don't attend all of those incidents. Some of them are going to be advice messages, but we still log that that's happened in that call, and that's a call that's been taken up in the control room or online. So you can see the biggest one by far for the area, this is just specific for that area of Shenley, South Mimms and Ridge, is going to be highways disruption, so broken down vehicles, etc. If you've got any questions, I'd ask just you mute the mic and just bring it up at the end or put it in the chat and we'll deal with it rather than speaking on microphone, okay? We've got 226 where it's police generated, so that's where we've either stop searched a person and we've created a log, or we've stopped a vehicle and we've created a log. 158 suspicious circumstances, so this could be things where we don't have a victim who's reported something to us, but say it's a door that's been left open at a house, or there's a false alarm for a burglar alarm or something like that. Next one, road traffic incidents, 84 concerned welfares. That's going to be somebody where there's either a physical or a mental health concern that we've had to attend as police. And then 72 road-related offences. So that's going to be reports of people with driving with mobile phones or not with insurance or something like that that's coming through to us. And then 149 antisocial behaviour incidents. So that's going to be quite a wide things, which we'll just go on to next, what those could be. So we've got a map here. Obviously, I can't share specifics of individual locations, but it gives you a bit of an idea of, for the area, where different things are. So you can see that little key we've got at the side. We've got fly tipping and smells are environmental things, which are the light blue. The larger the circle, the more calls we've had about it. And then you can see some of the other bits as well. As I said, I won't dwell on this bit too long because obviously it's got can't share individual locations, and that's the reason why it's so zoomed out. But just to give you an idea of roughly where we're getting those calls. Okay. Burglaries. Now, I know burglaries are one of the top concerns, and we get that just talking on the door, and it's when we're also doing the surveys through Hearts Connected. You can see those are the things that are really bugging people, and quite rightly. We just wanted to give a bit of an update as to what actually has been going on and recorded. So I know a lot of concern at the doorway about spate of burglaries when we get spoken to. So we've had 6 reported burglaries just in the Shenley area in the last year. So that's from the 27th of Feb to the 27th of Feb this year. And that's 2 attempts within that. So it's 8 in total. 4 of those actually came from a single day where there was some repeat offenders. And it just wanted to be clear, because I know it's a concern that police aren't doing enough, that for all of those incidents, forensics were either offered and refused, or we did actually attend with forensics for all of those. And also that an officer attended within 24 hours, most of the time within 1 hour. There's a couple of exceptions where things were found out a day later or so and have been reported sort of after, a long time after it's happened. But what I wanted to be clear on is that for every burglary, we treat it very seriously, and we do actually go out and we do the same full suite of individual bits for every single person. So we do all the offering of forensics when it's available. We go and do, as a neighbourhood team, we're out checking CCTV and speaking to all the neighbours, seeing what's been going on and trying to do some inquiries around the vehicles. Now, as with all things, as we improve our response, you naturally will find that a lot of these criminals will try and get a bit more clever about what they're doing. We obviously need to rise to the challenge on sometimes, and we always do here when it comes to Potters Bar and Shenley. So I just wanted to reassure everyone that it's a very serious issue. It's one of our priorities that we're dealing with here in Potters Bar and Shenley as the neighbourhood team. So we've been doing a lot of work around prevention and also trying to sort of do some targeted patrols and things like that. Okay. Nice segue onto what we've been doing as our priorities. So as you can see, these are all going to be fed by when we send the surveys out on our community messaging system, Hearts Connected. We ask you what things really matter to you, so we get those answers, and that's what feeds into what things we're going to be working on. And burglaries is a big, important one for everyone, very understandably. Even if it was just one that was recorded, that's one too many, really, isn't it? Because it's a massive invasion of privacy. So we have put it as our priority. We obviously can't be everywhere 24/7, but what we can do is, and it's a lot easier to try and prevent a burglary happening the first time than it is to obviously try and fix the damage that's been done afterwards. Obviously, we still do our part when it comes to that, but we have been doing a lot of work around our what's called safer streets. So that's where we do a nice holistic bit of safeguarding when there's particular streets that could be at risk, looking at historical things, just to make sure that all the houses are taken into account, have got all the information to try and put measures in place to stop there being any opportunities for any opportunistic burglars that might be there. So giving out burglary prevention advice, giving advice on what sort of measures that could be put in place to help sort of prevent things like that, okay? We've been doing some targeted patrols as well when it comes to those sort of later evening times around Shenley and some of the streets as well. So hopefully you've seen us when we've been doing that. And we've got some more operations and action sort of planned for the next couple of months or so as well. So we're looking at taking it very seriously, and we're doing a lot as our top priority to try and reduce that number. Okay. The other one, which has been a big point of contention, is around speeding in Shenley. So we've been doing a lot of work, not just ourselves, but working with the Police and Crime Commissioner's office. I don't know if people have been seeing them. Certainly, we've been seeing the results of it. We have had a van which is paid for by the Police and Crime Commissioner's office. It's been there checking speed on London Road, Black Lion Hill, Rowley Lane. Hopefully you've seen it. And it's been a lot of work that's going on in the background around where there are people who have been found to be speeding. We're trying to, from the mandate from the Police and Crime Commissioner's office, to try and do some education to try and reduce fatalities, reduce accidents, reduce injuries. Because a lot of the time, it's not going to be something that's done maliciously when it's speeding. It's going to be something where obviously it's just absent-mindedness or whatever is pulled up and then it's gone on to that. So, and a lot of the time we've got your sort of 35s and 36s out on a 30, things like that. Things where with a bit of education, hopefully we can reduce that accident happening, and that's the main important thing. Although we do, obviously, we have been doing spot checks and we've been doing enforcement where necessary as well. Okay, we've been doing some on Porters Park Drive, out by the chapel, and we've also been doing it on Black Lion Hill. We've got a couple of other ones which we obviously won't publicise where those are going to be and when, but we will be out and we will be looking. So if there is going to be anybody who's planning to do so, we will see you out there. Right. This has got the priority mapping. So this is going to be where the results come from, all the things that are in the surveys. This is the answers that we're getting. Obviously, it's all anonymized, and I can't share. But this is for the last 3 months. So you can see in this little bar chart, and hopefully if it's big enough, you can see all the different parts there as to what each of the columns mean. Quite clearly and quite rightly, you can see that the top ones are going to be speeding, burglary, and fly tipping being the highest one. So as I've already sort of said, burglaries and residential burglaries and speeding are our 2 priorities. Fly tipping, though, a bit conspicuous. There is actually a larger piece of work beyond our team that's being done with the local policing command here in Hertsmere, and also with the council, environmental health, who do a lot of the prosecutions successfully. I think they recently got a fine given for £20,000 for an offender. The community enforcement officers, the redcoats that have recently started as part of the council as well for civil enforcement. So there's a lot of large work. Don't feel that we're ignoring that, but it's just from our mandate, it's just the local team to deal with the local issues. Just at the moment, we've focused purely on doing the speeding and the burglary residential in terms of what's our priorities for just our team. But there is larger pieces of work that's going on with fly tipping, so don't feel like it's going to be ignored. Hopefully, I think everyone, I know it seems very insignificant, but down at number 6 out of, I believe it's 19 total columns, is I've got no problems whatsoever. That's obviously, I'll pull that out as a nice little positive. I know it doesn't seem very much because of how small it is compared to, say, how fly tipping is, but I think that's still a positive thing to look at, that a lot of people are still not getting any issues where they live, and that's very much how I want that to grow, and that's something we're going to be looking to try and obviously grow by getting rid of all these problems or trying to do some problem solving on these problems. Okay. Speaking of Hearts Connected, so this has all been done through the survey part. It's very much, you get the survey if you're a member, but you don't have to be a member to answer the survey. And I think it was on the Facebook thing, and if not, we can put it out, how to fill in the survey anonymously. Tell us how we're doing, even if it is that you've never had to see us and never had a problem. I'd rather get the true picture as to what's going on, so that then we can start doing things about it. But you can see, since the system launched in July, we've sent 500 messages. We've had 328 replies, which we've all answered. Got 120 new members just in the last 7 months here in the Shenley ward area. Had 164 survey answers run. We've done 45 different community meetings and events, and that could be things where it's, I think we've had the tea meeting room, which is at the church, isn't it, on London Road? Yeah. We've also been doing bike marking at the tea rooms and also up at Tesco Shenley. We're doing mini police, which is our program where we go see year 5s at the local primary schools in the area and teach them about antisocial behaviour, crime, bullying, internet safety, all the important things that you need nowadays in the modern world for a young person who's grown up, to make sure that they can have all the info to make themselves safe and make their friends safe as well. We're actually doing really, really well. It's just a personal pride point for me. So allow me to blag just a little bit. The Shenley is the 5th highest area for the whole of Hertsmere in terms of members on Hearts Connected, which I know doesn't seem very impressive, but if you think that Shenley is nowhere near being the 5th most popular, like high amount of population for the whole of Hertsmere, I think that's quite impressive. Fine, right. So people don't have to hear me yapping on. I thought we'll just end it quickly there, and then at least you've got a quick idea, if you've never met us before, what we do, what things, and then you can start putting in questions and things like that, okay?
Do you have a police station locally?
So we don't have a police station local to Shenley. We're based out of South Mimms police station. So we're not in Shenley itself, but we're relatively close. We're just around the corner at where the motorway services are for South Mimms. So we here on the team for Pottersbar and Shenley, we actually cover from almost up into Northaw all the way down to where you're getting towards Radlett and also down into Boreham Woods. So we've got another question around, can anyone turn up to South Mimms Police Station? So what we would say is that always try and contact us on either replying to a message on Hearts Connected, or if you just call on 111 or online. So South Mimms Police Station, whilst we are based out of here, we do not work 24/7, and there is no front desk with somebody staffed there at all times. So if you do need something, Boreham Wood's going to be the main one, which is staffed not 24/7, but most of the time due to being attached to the council building. Or if you call 101 or online, if it's not an emergency, there will always be somebody up in the control room who can take that call and speak to you. So even if we're busy or if we're not in, we can still get back to you as soon as we do come back in. Yeah, we do also have an email inbox just for our team on the neighbourhood team. So if there's something where somebody is, you just want a bit of advice, you can contact us that way as well. Yep, we've got a question about how people can keep up to date with the work that the neighbourhood team are doing day to day. So there's a few different ways that you can sort of do that. One of the main ones is on social media. So we're currently active, I believe, on a few different social media platforms of your choice. As I'm going to be put on the spot now, but we're definitely on Facebook because this is where this meeting was sort of advertised. But I believe we're also on Instagram and TikTok as well. I think we just had a question come up. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a question which is saying some time ago, Ridge residents arranged the sergeant to have some speed monitoring done. This was never conducted during rush hour as far as we know. Can we schedule this again? The village has become a rat run. So thank you to the person who asked that question. That's something I'd have to have a discussion with the sergeant, but I don't see any problem. It's one of our priorities. I'm more than happy to obviously, I think, put some time in. It's not just about Shenley, it is about South Mimms and Ridge as well. So I don't see there being an issue with that. Obviously, we just need to sort out times and dates on resourcing, basically, just when we can get suitably trained officers up there and also get the officers just there and then, as well as getting it at a time that, like you sort of alluded to, around rush hour where we've got people who might be cutting through. I know that it's quite a common cut through when the A1 has got lots of issues. So yeah, Cheryl, if you just make a note for that.
Yeah.
What we'll do at the next one as well is we'll try and, as I was sort of saying, how you keep a track of stuff we're doing day to day, we have on social media. So hopefully we will see the result if we're doing some of that work. Alternatively, if you email the person who asked that question, if you email to that email address, we will then get back to you with your contact details, obviously just outside this meeting, if there's a particular time or issue that you want us to sort of bring up. But yeah, I don't see a problem at all with doing some of those speed checks around Ridge as well. And for the other sort of people who want to see things that's happened afterwards or check that we've done that, hopefully we'll put it up on social media, so Facebook, Instagram, and sort of TikTok. For some of the younger viewers as well, we now apparently do. If my memory serves me correctly, we definitely do Facebook and Instagram, and then you'll see the fruits of our labour on there. But if not, also next time we do this meeting, we'll bring that up as well. Thank you for answering that question, or asking that question, I should say. Is there anything that can be done? So there's another just sort of follow-up question from the same person. So it's just asking, is there anything that can be done about the lorries going through Cross Oaks Lane? This has increased hugely in the last few months. So I'm aware of this because I know we have regular meetings with the parish councillors for both South Mimms and Shenley, and I know that this is something that is a bugbear that a lot of the residents bring up, quite rightly, because I can see how obviously on a country lane like that, it's going to be very frustrating. It is something that's going to need a little bit more work. I know that previously in neighbouring areas, there's been a lot of work around doing weight sort of checks on particular lorries if they're in restricted rows where they shouldn't be. The slight difference when it comes to Cross Oaks is that last I checked, there was no width or weight restriction that was going on for the lorries there. So it's very much, I know when you go down there, and some of the lorries that are going down there, they're too wide, they're too big, and it essentially stops traffic going the other way, even though it's supposed to be a two-way lane, because of the fact it's a country lane. So I am aware of that issue. That's something which we'll make a note of, and we will obviously think, I know we've already spoken to the councillors about it before, and there's a little bit where we're restricted because we can't. Oh, we just got a bit of feedback. Yeah, I'll have to double check just to the person. So there's a reply just saying that there's a sign for lorries turning off the A1 onto Holmes Hill, which is the little road that goes up towards Somerswood that's just parallel to the A1 for those who aren't familiar, and goes in towards Ridge Village. Saying it's not suitable for heavy vehicles. Saying the question is this advisory only? I'll have to get back and check for that one. So what I will do is either, like I said, if you email into the inbox with your contact details, I'll come back to you with a definite answer. And then otherwise, we'll bring it up on the next time we have the meeting, hopefully in a couple of months' time. And then we'll give you an answer on there. So feel free to tune in and get that if you are okay to wait. I don't want to say for sure just because I can't remember exactly what sign it is and exactly which one it's got there. So I don't want to give you the wrong information. I'd rather go away and find out if that's okay. And that'll probably be my job immediately after this meeting. I'll be. So anybody who wants to contact us, like I said, I'll say it again just whilst we're in the last sort of 5 minutes before we log off. If you email the email address that Cheryl put in, it's going to be in the chat and the Q&A bit. Then email that email address, and then you can get, if there's something that's more personal that you don't want to have read out, or you don't want to have sort of be verbalized for everyone, or it's a specific issue, then just email the email address. That will have your contact details, and we'll pick it up with you privately afterwards. Okay. Obviously, we've done that little intro blurb. I'll do that probably for the next couple of times we do this meeting, just because there might be some new people who are sort of joining for the first time. But if there's anything that people want to know, so obviously there's a certain amount of info which I can't share, but there's some things which I can try, and if people want to know about how much of this particular crime type or what we do in these particular situations in general, do let us know, and we can try and feed that into the presentation in some way so that you can get that information next time. And obviously we'll update all the numbers each time that has happened. Okay. Equally, if people are interested in joining Hearts Connected, please do so. It's really good. We spend a lot of time on it, looking at the survey responses, looking at replies to messages when there's people who've got issues. It's a really valuable tool for us, and as I've already sort of said, it feeds directly into what things we're prioritizing every 3 months. So as I sort of showed on that slide earlier when we were actually going through it in the first 10 minutes of the meeting or so, that feedback around burglary and speeding directly, turned into the things that we were going to be focusing on for the next 3 months, and the actions that we were going to be spending our time on. So please fill them in. If you're not comfortable, you don't have to be a member. You can fill it in anonymously. I still would value that feedback just because it helps us understand what's going on. I can't tell from a silent response what things are bugging people and what are causing people issues. And I know that sometimes it feels, especially when we look on social media, at the weight of all the different things going on nationally and internationally, that police don't do much. I think even though we're a small team, we'll surprise you. But I don't know what I don't know. And we need that feedback and those sort of communications from you guys as residents to let us know what things we should be looking into. Just want to say last couple of minutes as well, thank you to everyone who has put questions in there. Thank you to everyone who's attended. I hope you've got a lot out of the meeting. I'm more than happy to do this, and that's why I say we'll do it on a regular basis. I appreciate not everyone's want to have questions, they're just interested. That's absolutely fine, not a problem at all. I can understand that, and hopefully you keep coming back. Hopefully, if you maybe haven't got a question this time, maybe next time you will. But I wanted to thank everyone for their responses, everyone for coming. Hopefully it's been beneficial and you've seen it as being helpful. Don't feel, that you have to sort of sit for the whole thing as well. Feel free to dip in and out if it's just a quick question you got. More than happy with that as well. It's not a problem at all, just the person who's just given some thanks. I'd always want to do, we're only human, we always want to do more. Obviously sometimes there's some resource bits that we have to try and contend with, like anything. But like I said, if there's ever an issue, even if it feels like there's nothing that we could do about it, like I said, put it in. We'll do our best to try and surprise you. And like I said, it's very difficult when it's just yourself thinking that it's just you that's having this issue. Then when you verbalize it and put it out there, even if it is anonymously in a sort of forum like this, a lot of people might be having the same issue. And it's only having the first person just to step over and say that it's happening might just be enough to sort of cue everybody else into saying, yeah, I'm having the same issue as well. Right, it's 1:45. If nobody else has got any questions, we're going to wrap up the meeting now. Apologies if there's been any jankiness. It's our first time, bear with us. Hopefully everyone's got something out of this meeting. And like I said, please give us feedback on the meeting, on us. Join Hearts Connected. And if there's anything else you want to pick up privately, do email that email address. I'll do my best at reading it out now and doing an impression of daytime TV. It's Potters Bar and Shenley, all one word. Remember the EY and Shenley at hearts.police.uk. So email that inbox and we'll either come back to you and we could deal with that with more specific issues, or we'll put you in contact with the right people. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll be running the next one hopefully in a couple of months. Thank you for your time.